So a week ago, Glover Teixeira had to deal with a question that had to do with his retirement. This was like a week ago. And Glover answered the question. He said, I'm going to go fight Prochazka. I would like to fight one more time. As a matter of fact, I would like that fight to be in Madison Square Garden, and that would be my last fight. I mean, there was a lot that he put on it, but Glover was kind of answering it, at least my interpretation. Perfect scenario. We never get perfect scenarios, but when he said 2 more fights by example, he said he wins them both by example. He says Madison Square Garden by example. He was kind of being a real nice, friendly guy, as Glover tends to do, and he answered the question put in front of him. Now, he's ran that back. He went out and he kind of changed that answer and said, well, I got asked that question. I wasn't in training camp yet. I wasn't feeling wonderful like I am now. I think he called himself a bear. You know, when I'm in training camp, I'm a bear. I can feel I can beat anybody. I'm very confident going into Prochazka, and I want to keep on fighting. Okay. Whatever. Like, we're not holding him to it. It's a thought within the moment. I feel the bigger topic is, who asked him that and why? That question is not asked to be nice. It's asked with a nice tone, but it's asked from somebody who has a negative intent. Nobody ever asked Michael Jordan when he was going to retire, just by example. Nobody ever said those words to Colby or said those words to Shaq, just by example. So when you start to ask a guy in MMA if he's going to retire, it's preluded on a hope that the answer is yes. Why? Sometimes it's for our heroes, who are not as good as they used to be, who we see going down and falling down, who we see cannot follow the most basic rule of the sport, which is protect yourself at all times. We see that within them, and they have yet to discover that within themselves, so we start to ask that question as a way of planting the seed, as a way of doing something nice, of getting them to see what the whole world does. Every fighter is done, and visibly done to the audience, roughly 12 months before he sees it himself. But we do these things in this sport, and when you do it to somebody like Glover, who's not only the champion, he's coming off a massive upset of which he was in complete control. Glover became the #1 contender through absolute dominance. It was not back and forth battles. Glover was really on top, and until we see anything different, he deserves to be remembered the way that he competed in his last contest, or even the one before that and the one before that, which was incredible. So I'm surprised that question was asked. If it's being asked of somebody who's doing great, who is following the basic rule of protect yourself at all times, then it comes from a standpoint of, you're really good, you're going to get top billing, but you're not exciting and or interesting. And if these guys can't beat you, would you please just step aside yourself, right? It's never designed to be nice. Never has anybody said, are you considering retiring? Because they were genuinely interested in the question. We have other things like that in the sport. If you pass 50 USADA tests, USADA will give you a jacket, take a picture, and send it out to the world. Now, the message there is in no part, good job. The message is, we tested you 50 times because when we look at you, we think you're dirty. So we keep showing up trying to catch you, and though you got us 50, let me assure you, I'm going to show up 50 more because we still think you're dirty. There has never been a fighter that they thought was clean that they showed up to 50 times, right? It's one of these really weird things in our sport. And there you got the person smiling, wearing the jacket, and they're smiling. You know, they're all proud of the moment. The rest of us are going, yeah, but do you know why they knocked on your door that many times in the first place? Do you really believe that it's a wheel that goes around and your number came out 50 times? You've been fighting just as long as other people whose names came out 3 times. Do you really not know why they're here? Does Glover really not know why they're asking him if he wants to retire? Because he keeps answering it very friendly. He keeps being a very kind guy. But the question is not designed for that. The question is designed by somebody who would like to see Glover step aside. And that's because half the time, the guy should. He's not as good as he was anymore. Or when he's a champion of the world and he's doing it in dominant fashion, you're just not interested in him and you want him gone. So word to the wise, to Glover and to anybody else. If anybody asks you the question, are you considered retired? That person is not your friend.